Did you know that Native American pottery was made within the community to cook, serve, store food, and water? Pottery that may have led to the trade and led to the spread and knowledge to other communities in the American continent. Hi, my name is Vanessa, and I'm going to be talking about how to make a coil pot out of clay. So this is important to you because you will be able to develop a new artistic skill, and you will be able to make a decorative or functional pottery such as a bowl, a jewelry dish, or any creative or thoughtful gifts for the future. I have been using clay for about 2 years for pottery, and I do this by using utensils that can be found at home. And today I will be talking about how to identify which option is best for you, making your own clay or store-bought clay. However is more convenient to you, and talking about how to make clay and what ingredients are needed and how to make a coil pot. So moving right along, let's get started. Now let's identify what clay we are going to be working with, the homemade or the store-bought clay. So for coil pots, I really recommend the dirt clay, and which is made out of dirt, and we see in movies usually when they are using the sculpting wheel and pottery. And I recommend this clay if you're going to be buying it, but if not, if you want to make it or you want something more colorful, I recommend the polymer clay. You can also buy it in different colors compared to the dirt clay. The dirt clay comes in gray, more of a grayish orange or brownish color. Yet again, you can always paint the dirt clay when it is dry with acrylic paint, but it is a preference. We have to take in consideration that these two clays are air drying clays, so you have to have it well conserved in a bag. The difference between these two is that the polymer clay dries faster to work piece by piece, and have a moist paper towel on top of the clay that we are not using. And the dirt clay also gets dry, but it really depends on the amount of clay that you are using. Also conserve in a airtight bag, and if it loses its moisture while using it, it cracks, it dries, you can restore its moisture by using water. So now that we know this, let's move on to our next step. So in case we have chosen to make our own clay, we'll discuss what we need and how we will make it. So the materials needed for this is a cup of cornstarch, a cup of white glue, 2 tablespoons of baby oil, and 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. Also need a microwavable bowl, and something to stir it with. So first we're going to take our cornstarch and our white glue. We're going to stir it until there is no lumps, and we're going to add our baby oil and our white vinegar. Once we have that all incorporated, we're going to cook it in our microwave for about 2 minutes. Stop and stir every 30 seconds. So we should have a smashed potato consistency, a little bit. It can come out a little bit more liquidy, but it is okay. And meanwhile, it is cooling down a little. We get our thick lotion and we apply it on our hands and on the surface that we are going to be working on. We are going to be knitting it, and it is okay. It is totally normal for it to stick at first, but while it cools down, it's supposed to unstick. If this does not happen, we can add a little bit of cornstarch and until getting the consistency that we want. Once we kneaded and obtained a shiny and smooth dough, we are able to manipulate it without sticking. It is ready. So now that we have our clay, hands on. The materials that we need for a coil pot is a bowl with water, paper towels, something to cut our clay with. It can be a butter knife, it can be scissors, a flat surface to work on, a cloth, a spoon, something to roll out our clay. It can be a roller, a cup, whatever you have available. First we take our clay and we roll it up in a ball, and we extend it on our flat surface. So we're going to put our cloth underneath our clay, underneath our ball, and we are going to extend it with our roller or whatever we have until we get a slab. We're going to get our utensil to cut out the shape that we desire. So this is my example. I made it a circle. So now that we have this, our slab, we have to take smaller balls of clay and make it into a smooth ball and roll it up into a rope looking coil. This is what I call it, a coil. So the circumference of our coil really depends on you, and you can make this into different shapes. You can twist it, make it different colors. You can make it a braid. You can simply just leave it as like, you can make other shapes too. I made like this little leaf, a teardrop, a heart, etc. And you can put it in between your coils while you are stacking them. So this doesn't have to have an order. It's it depends on you. You can freestyle it or have a pattern. So while we're making our coils, we have to start attaching them to our slab. So for example, right here, and we just smudge all of the inside face. For example, right here, our braid and onto our slab until it is stuck on. And we continue doing this with every single design or little shape that we have. The height of our pot really depends on the artist and the layers of the coils that you have. But once you have the height desired, you can leave it as that and fix up rough edges with water. And once you have your coil pot how you want it, just let it air dry out, and done. We have our beautiful coil pot made at home. So today we have discussed the difference between our clays and which works best for you, the ingredients, how to make clay and how to make it, and how to make a coil pot. So this is our coil pot, still moist, and this is our finished and painted coil pot. So now that you know how to make a coil pot, you can totally make other things of clay, significant figures or little gifts, keychains for in the future, and you have a useful scale for a significant, for a future present or a future hobby. And now you know how to make one of the oldest forms of art and found a fun and entertaining way how to do it.